Thank you. So, thank you very much, Agnes, and for the opportunity to read and to represent the anthology, which I'm very proud to be in. I think it's a wonderful thing. So I have a small collection, which I'm only going to read a few poems or a poem or two from each of my publications over the last year or so. So, we're going to begin with a book in a box, which is called The Estates of Westeros, published by Like This Press in Manchester by the wonderful Nikolai Duffy. And it is a load of poems about housing estates if they were in the Game of Thrones universe. And a wonderful way to begin the reading. I will let people choose the poems I'm going to read as though it were from a card deck. You look friendly. Choose. Thank you very much. I'll only read two. Let's go to the back.
I seriously want to do this.
Yeah, choose one. Thank you very much. Cool. The Seaworth Estate. Auditions for the Orchestra of the Poor held in the basement of Cadogan Hall. Harrowing after watching For Bridelson. An appetite applauding equals applause. Gold swills with water babies. Born out of sauce, brown, vegetal, comes exhaustion, a habitation to strain and debt. The sound of a child falling down stone stairs while still within a mother. Thrown within a father. And he was murdered and woke from the dead, or something like that, by the power of a grey skull. The Greyjoy Estate. Miserable with a hand resting on a face, really bored with the lessons, went out instead moving sheep. We are on an anthology wheelchair. To take, pick, read your favourite, I'm the knife, the black one, throwing information out like bricks off an overpass. So save me a sandwich. I'll return hungry from giving birth to Charlotte. Her father has run, but down deep, who can blame him? The next few are from a collection called Minimum Security Prison Dentistry, which is about prisons and dentistry. Tom Tit. My knife was once a wooden spoon, now it is a knife. My shank is a knife penetrating and remaining ensconced beneath the left lower rib. The floating rib, the consulate of Adam, is neighboured by the spoon of cold porridge. Summertime coughs. Axe wound. Hair made bird beast cleaned and expanded like wet cement, the great flex in his hair. When close enough to kiss fingernails, he pulls it away gently, but I'm still able to smell his fingers, and he doesn't seem disturbed. I may have found a wife. I believe this act brought me the 7th and 8th words. Off you. Cop. What prison bars do not is what a spider web does not. Bars laid upon stones, on stones and stores, empty decoration by bars. Climb a log below the granite line to lock with the locking sound, the setting lock, the frozen sea of granite, the smoke of prison bars shaped trees. Each bar is a virgin, each door a flock of joists and atoms. I am the filament of granite, become the child of filter and filigree, a prisoner at the feet of a house whose sons are architects. I'm going to read from something called Vikings, which was published in Brazil in a limited edition. It's the POW series, which I think was in. My granddad was Swedish. I'm a big Vikings fan. So this is 6 poems that I shaped like the first 6 letters of the oldest runic alphabet, the Futhark. So you can read it as runes or as poems. I'll just read one. Maybe lucky to be a farmer satisfied with the shield boat, revolutions in building. Standing sight of Odin, I didn't know his hat was as prominent. Ragnar, I'm growing my blonde, plaited paddle tail, shaving sides like you enthusiasms. I'm also like killing Lithuanians. staying their women down in a ditch, courtesy, bar Fowler is my bare son. Then in the roadstead rocked a ring-dyke rubber dinghy, icy and keen to sail a vault vessel. They laid down the beloved level boss, ableists on the breast of the boat, the breaker of boats, the rites of passage, the vulgars deeply meddledy flowed on over the banks of the resounding middle clages. Do you smell the coast, woman bear? That snail priest who teaches you not to run and to shut down the oaths replies to Earth's bow like basically we prepared to take whatever because we are stronger than everyone. Erica, how to introduce you? I am strong. Baltic was a hopping pad, an ancestor visited, and maybe you, so we, the slow weak one, doesn't make it too stuffed into a clay pot. Flies die too, actually. Erica, how to introduce the raid? The flying crow Blackfist, only for a week. My reason travelling back the gelds like a child. Ears of I can't tell one from the other. The bread wasn't warm between her. So many hours spent at translations. Wet on the field. Lay shitty tilt sails into this land. I dig my hair as if I intended to remain seaman. Erica, it falls mouthly and happy one has nothing to do with you. Keep your legs open before me, none. Confident, grief bush spread, gross skeletal puppy awakening south of the belt. I am the boar, the rhythm of the landex, a top, root and all. Lick it up. When you thought this way, there was hope. Now, because you've forgotten, screaming. Try though. Soon you'll be alone, shimmer, wishing you'd enjoyed it more while it was happening. Now I'm going to read from second to last thing I put out called Enemies, which is all my collected collaborations together. So this is kind of an anthology, but I didn't talk about it because it's all my work in it. But it's with 30 different artists, poets, musicians, composers. So it's a big selection of really radically different work visually and textually. I'm just going to read a few poems from a series with the artist David Kelly. His drawings are on the page with it. It's called Gilles de Rais. It's about Gilles de Rais, the 17th century French supposed paedophile, monstrous murderer, but really it's about Jimmy Savile. Shot in the ribs in revenge. My organs like this, 2 ribs, rhymes, and Emily's racist baby workout. It's a future collected book like this, a postcard-sized box that is completely empty as a hospital bed, can be empty soon enough if you don't watch your mouth, and if so, I'll be on quick as a flash, evidence for it in my past. It was awkward before it was over, with an epigraph by Bruce Andrews. All of my friends are dead, too bad for them. And it was hard out there, and there was a clap of thunder, oh, and Mary, we are not friends. Hands up, says Gilles, I admit it. Truth be told, I don't know why I did it. Maybe because I enjoyed it. Maybe, are you going? It's not as though I killed that many children. Is it just because sex is involved? He asked, for I killed far more of the young on the battlefield. Who remembers Biafra? Young wars are paid for by being cherished. The older ones are so sick of war because it is behind them. Because what do they do for hobby? When they have all this free time on their hands, after they round up all the children of the village lands, and these are happenings. And there's a depression apparently, but that doesn't seem to an excuse to me, but I've not been where you are. Now I'm going to read a few poems that were in the anthology, from my 4th collection called Recipes, which was just like using the form of the recipe, the tone of the recipe, but I can't explain the content, I don't remember. A recipe for Bramley Apfel pie. Assigning on an excess of time cider, curbing Sharon until she earns her pocket money. A recipe for gammon steaks. An overly academicized intelligence without a sense of general emotional empathy. A minefield of unconfronted personal issues. An aggressive over-ambition within the confines of an obscure industrial biscuit factory. The horror pain at having shins cracked with some object or other, and an oncoming depression at being raped in revenge. A recipe for Caesar's salad. A weak risk. Nobel Prize Peace Lecture on 2 Liberian women. A suckling FX cutting it out of the stomach to determine its gender. A limp salad. Marriage, as if it was the 50s, a huge error, as if you had no choice, but all as a metaphor for inhumanity that bathes the rest of the borough in the light of being ungrateful. A recipe for pistachio baklava. A turtle overturned, legs up like a beetle. A debauched watermelon drill. A warm cave, a house of friends. Sirens, a contorted face screaming, art school. And to finish, a poem from my new book. It just came out like a month ago, called The Rottweiler's Guide to the Dog Owner.
Can you say something about the title?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know why it's called The Rottweiler's Guide to the Dog Owner. It's the only collection that I've ever done that's a collection of different kinds of poems. It's a collection of suites or commissions or things I did over the last year and a half. Normally all my collections are like a specific subject matter that I just write a lot about. So I just needed a collective title.
Why Rottweiler?
I found I found a book in a charity shop that was called The Dog Owner's Guide to the Rottweiler. I thought it sounded beautiful and I wanted to invert that. I felt like the Rottweiler deserved his due. So I'm just going to read one slightly longer poem called Wormwood Scrubs. And 2 or 3 poets really huge in my life throughout writing all these different commissions. And one of them was Anselm Hollow, who's just an enormous influence on me and just really a massive presence in my writing and my thoughts after meeting him a few years ago. So this is dedicated to him. It's called Wormwood Scrubs, and it's kind of about him and my experience of reading his poems while living in London and realising that so many of the reference points of what he was doing while he was writing those poems were exactly what I found myself doing at the same time. It felt like a shadow life that had come upon me. In awe of a life's writing, Anselm Hollow, April 12th, 1934 to January 29th, 2013. Oh, my best friend, Bones, if I should die. All those emails unanswered might be a tiny ear in the palm. On Wormwood, that's why holding you so lovely. It's almost always a love poem here. Command is given and we're clan free above the wall. Before where the lion teases an army, it's more silky as it lifts its tail to the horse. To have two wives, 2 sisters, 2 mothers, and 3 dragons. How did you get those bruises? Sport. Singing to me about eye colour, performance poets. Lublin isn't Dublin. And the feeling in the heart of feelings, but 12-year-old nearly dead through self-starvation. Refusing potassium pills. The only way to stop the father is to kill him. There is nothing pathetic about her. She doesn't panic. What colour need a spoon be when bored into thick in order to stir shit as a profession? The city a snake turns out a shark. Doom. The house rises up into a man. Oh my David, butler and friend and best man, you're nothing on my wife. Were it not for an old bear reading, we would free miniature license. To love, just days from that old lech informing us how love we are and will be apart from everybody because ain't we not like them? A crocodile bird, a line of matters surviving videos like wolves. Lie I on Wormwood Scrubs profusely sweating kettlebells. Oh, creatine monohydrate, may snitches get stitches. Cock tree lays iron egg, nearing 30, we should have listened. No things fall apart. A sign into those horse bones, ash into Yuan, the first memory. Today, backwards riding an electric horse galloping into the lid atop a void. You will leave some trace, unfortunately, now something new instead. So much noise at home, love too brief. Finally knowing the near dead, clean just for a moment, you're a slag. The clumsy odd, a family friend for 14 years, now plant stalks your daughter. The baby won't pollute. Don't turn to the microwave fire if just fine. Pishhead tradition winding up in intervention or death, timely sobering. On the banks of the yellow and black, don't live in Leeds. Be quieter. Oh no, a peck with an acorn. Turns out a small knife cuts demons when accurately thrust. A river in the marble, harvest shrapnel, 4 ways, 1 hat. I was Olivia Nicolescu. I make suicide. Thank you very much.